The Leadership Behavior and Style by Aristotle, the famous philosopher who existed from 384 to 322 BC. So we are trying to connect no the leadership behavior and style, how the teachings of Aristotle has influenced those leadership behavior and style. Okay, so first is we could say, based on the readings that we had, that Aristotle is an ethical leader. Okay, ethical leadership. This is directed by respect for ethical beliefs and values and for the dignity and the right of others. So the ethical leaders act as role models for their followers. So we have highlighted here the words ethical beliefs and values, as Aristotle puts emphasis and give importance on rhetoric and ethics in leadership. So although Aristotle existed long years ago, but his teachings remain relevant until today because he is particularly interesting in defining ethics. Okay, based on his two treatises, the he emphasized there in living a virtuous life where there is justice, courage, temperance, and so on. Okay, so Aristotle knows that life is an opportunity of eudaimonia. Okay, so when we say eudaimonia, that is the highest human good. Okay, so there is the moral virtues of character. This moral virtue is acquired through experience. It subordinates to other moral notions such as duty and obedience to law. Um, Based on his teachings, also, there is what we call the intellectual virtue of prudence, the ability to govern oneself by the use of reason. And then the interpersonal virtues of justice and friendship, um, the virtuous life, the practical wisdom, courage, self control are the main qualities that could be seen in any great leader. So he also emphasized no the golden mean. Okay, so the ethical leadership is mirrored no basically from the Aristotle's philosophy. So Aristotle's teaching on virtue ethics is still relevant until today, offering guidance for ethical leadership. Okay, so the next leadership style that is somehow influenced by the teachings of Aristotle is the humanistic leadership. So this is a type of leadership wherein there is a ethical philosophic approach that is compassionate, reasonable, and strategic. So the leaders here having a strong concern for human well-being and values. Okay, so according to Aristotle's ethics, that human should have good to have good friends, should experience pleasure, to be healthy, to be honored. So that is why in any organizations there is a teamwork, there is leisure, team building. And then we have the term work-life balance, healthy living, and then we also have to receive no our recognition if we do our best, no if we have done excellent work, a recognition, appreciation, because humans um, need to be appreciated. Okay, it is also reiterated here that all people have something valuable and positive to contribute, and all people should be treated with dignity and respect. So these characters, these are um, anchored no from the teachings of Aristotle. Okay, So, according to the Aristotelian thought, morality is needed since virtuous behavior enhances the relationship of people within society, organization, or a group. Okay, so there should be mutual respect. Okay, so the humanistic leaders should be compassionate with their subordinates. They align the vision, mission, and values to meet the human need. So, in short, Aristotle is um, a humanistic philosopher. Next is because he is very concerned with the ethics. No, we could also say that Aristotle is an authentic philosopher. Thus, we have anchored our practice, no, from the teaching of Aristotle. The authentic leadership, wherein people act in a real, genuine, and sincere way. And the leaders should lead with values, principles, and integrity. So these characters are basically the teachings of Aristotle. So we could associate being authentic to a magnanimous person, as reiterated by Aristotle. No, this is magnanimous is a typical virtue of the great, in which to become authentic, a leader should be genuine, practice value, and with integrity. So when we say magnanimous, a person with the greatness of the soul. Okay, so according to Aristotle, the magnanimous person is worthy of great honor at the right time, right reason, in the right person, and will act upon it in a proper way. So, in short, authentic, very genuine leadership. Next is the charismatic leadership. So, this is coined by Weber, but the original, the thought, no, is based on the teaching also of Aristotle. So the leaders in the charismatic leadership, they inspire and motivate followers through their personal charm and appeal, qualities, vision, and persuasive communication. So leadership is fundamentally the art of persuasion. Okay, so every leader should have the ability, no, to communicate, to convince, no, or to relay his or her idea. So he should have the art of persuasion. So the speaker or the potential leaders must know his arguments or the logos, emotional disposition of the members, the pathos, and the character, the ethos. So the leader should capture his members. So that is persuasive communication is related to rhetoric of Aristotle. Okay, so a leader, according to Aristotle, should have an excellent rhetoric abilities to persuade. He should display practical wisdom, the pronesis. Okay, Aristotle considered this as the highest intellectual virtue. And then the goodwill, wishing the good of another with respect, and the virtue, no, the ethical virtue, the character centered approach to morality. The laissez-faire leadership is somewhat also anchored from the teachings of Aristotle. So that it is this type of leadership is characterized by a hands-off approach where leaders provide minimal direction, allowing team members to make decisions. So the laissez-faire leadership. So somehow we set them, our employee, free to speak and give them our a particular language to do it in, and then they do all the work. So according to an article, no, the leadership character and virtues from an Aristotelian viewpoint, it says there that followership has to spring naturally from the minds and hearts of the people. So the autocratic leadership, that is, a power and authority, are concentrated in the leader, and then the leaders control all decisions and little input from group members. Okay, so this is somehow related, no, from the teaching of Aristotle. He exemplified in the master slave relationship. So the natural slaves who lacks deliberative faculty, who lacks knowledge, no, who lacks wisdom, so they do not know what to do, and thus they need a natural master to direct them. So that is why there is this what we call the autocratic leadership. So rulers in the authoritative or the autocratic office should have these three things: affection for the established regime, the great capacity for the work involved in the rule, and then third, virtue and justice. So this is always, no, when you read about the teachings of Aristotle, there is always this virtue, ethics, justice, courage, and the golden mean, the magnanimity. Okay, so also we have the democratic leadership. So this is also known as participative leadership or shared leadership, in which members of the group participate in the decision making process. So um, though there are writings of Aristotle that contradicts, no, with the teaching of democracy, but there are also these articles that would support the idea of democracy. So according to the book, no, Aristotle Politics, book 1 part 2, uh, Aristotle stated there that all citizens should participate alternately in authority. Though he is critical of democracy, in one passage he allowed that the case for the rule by many democracy, based on the superior wisdom of the multitude, perhaps also involves some truth. So this, we extracted this from his Politics, no. Yes, so this is our reference here. So his belief that citizens must actively participate in politics if they are happy and virtuous. Okay, so next is the global leadership. So this can be defined as leading interdependent people and processes that stretch beyond national borders, so either implicitly or explicitly. So a solution that is not found on widely recognized principles may produce short-term benefits. So this is extracted from the teachings of Aristotle, that a solution thou that is not found widely, basing on the widely recognized principles, may produce a short-term benefit. So in short, he is in favor, or he is um, teaching global leadership. So leaders should focus to ensure what the methods are adopted are ethical. Okay, again, so naragyapon si ethical. Okay, so next is the transactional leadership. So the leadership style that relies on attaining goals through structure, supervision, and a system of rewards and punishment. So this is highly directive, action oriented, and their relationship with the followers tend to be transitory and not based on emotional bonds. So according to Aristotle, the method they adopt are ethical. So there is method. And then they pursue the results that will make their lives virtuous, proper honor to an excellent performance. So yes, because people We have stated here the supervision in a system of rewards and punishment. So this is why proper honor should be given for an excellent performer, and of course punishment for those who are not compliant, no, with the company's policy. Next is the transformational leadership. This is a leadership style that empowers people to accomplish positive change through big vision, inspiration, and a call to action. So, this is a model of leadership that inspires and motivates followers to achieve extraordinary outcomes and develop their own leadership capacity. So, in a constantly changing situation, the leader must be transformative. Okay? Make sure to practice with theory, ethics with realism, work centered management, and the human centered management. So you have to consider these factors. The last is visionary. This is a type of leadership that focuses on creating a vision for the future and inspiring others to make it a reality. So leaders here know how to carve the vision into operational components and translate into action for all organizational leaders. So the visionary leaders should use the realm of scientific fact coupled with ethical judgment, and prudence is needed. This is important intellectual virtues as it has a catalytic effect on leadership. Okay, so to sum it up, uh, leaders could be very challenging role, no? So an effective leader must make sure, especially in the periods where the organization is more unstable, to promote the ethics inside the company, which keep a good and fair climate inside the organization, but not disregard the profit, because the viability of the company will be at stake. So we can always go back to the teaching, no, the golden mean, the teaching of Aristotle. Okay, so these are my references, and thank you so much for listening.